Hello everyone, my name is Betsy and today we're going to learn how to build up our single crochet.
Alright, so today I will be using a 6.5mm hook. I love this yarn in Arctic Ice and I'm starting with a chain of 7. If you still don't know how to do a slip knot or a basic chain, please watch my first video. So when you're learning to crochet, one of the hardest things to master is the most basic thing, which is the chain stitch for the foundation chain. Usually when you are a beginner, when you chain a foundation chain, all the stitches come out a little wonky, they don't come out straight or consistent, and you have a really hard time distinguishing what is the top and what is the bottom of the chain and the stitches. So for my tutorials, I like using the 6.5mm hook, which is larger than needed for the yarn that I usually use, because it allows me to make more exaggerated stitches, and I hope that this is going to be easier for beginners that are learning to help distinguish where the hook is supposed to go in and how the chains are supposed to be read and seen. Now today we will be learning how to build up our single crochet from the foundation chain, and the way that we're going to be doing that is that we're going to start by hooking into the second chain from the hook, which is not the knot right underneath this loop that's on our hook, but is the chain that's right underneath that knot right there. And I did this in slow-mo so you can better see how I'm inserting the hook there into the second chain from the hook. And so there we have 2 loops, and then I loop in some yarn once, and I have 2 loops there, and then I loop yarn through those 2 loops, and that right there is a single crochet. Now I felt I didn't do the best job showing how I started building up from my foundation chain in the first clip, so here I am doing it again, and you can see that my foundation chain here is really straight and consistent, and you can clearly see where the stitches are. They're all pretty much the same size and they're really easy to count. So once again, here you have the loop that's around your hook currently, and right underneath that loop is a little knot, but that is not a stitch. It's not the stitch that you're going to be hooking into. It's the stitch right underneath that knot where you're going to want to insert your hook to start building up the second row of single crochets. Once you figure out what the knot underneath your current loop is and the stitch right underneath it, you can insert your hook into that stitch, the second stitch from your hook, and you'll see that you have 2 loops on your hook right there. And then you're going to want to yarn over through those 2 loops, and that right there is your first single crochet. You're going to want to continue doing this all the way down your chain here, and when you're done, you're going to end up with 6 single crochets down your row here. It's not going to be 7 anymore because we took one away when we inserted our hook into the second chain from the end or the beginning of this chain. So I'm really working slow here so you can really study what I'm doing and see how I'm inserting my hook into the stitches of the foundation chain and how everything is turning out, because I think that's one of the hardest things to really realize when you're a beginner. how all the stitches build up from each other and how they should look. And after you finish your second row of single crochets, you'll see that the foundation chain has completely transformed and pretty much is unrecognizable. So here I'm showing you kind of slowly and in more detail how this looks currently, and I'm also kind of pointing at all the stitches there, which are 6. And just for good measure, I'm going over this once again and showing you more slowly how the foundation chain is supposed to look. The stitches are all supposed to be in one direction and very easy to read. You can see here that my foundation chain, all the stitches are very visible, and that the chain itself lays flat pretty easily. So you have your loop here and then that knot right underneath it, and that's not where you want to insert your hook. You want to insert your hook into the chain right underneath that. This tends to be a really hard thing to figure out when you're a beginner. I don't know why. I think it has to do with the fact that beginners tend to use hooks that are probably a little bit too small for their skill level. I would highly recommend using a hook that is larger than what is needed for the type of thread or yarn that you choose to use. Now here I sped it up a little bit since we've been going over the same thing a couple times, because I want to go on to row number 3. Once you've finished your second row, you should have 6 stitches across. You can see me counting here, 6 stitches. That last stitch is kind of hard to distinguish there, but that is your 6th stitch. And here you see me again counting those stitches. They should be really easy to see, very visible. 3, 4, 5, and 6 right there. Almost doesn't look like a stitch right there, but that is a stitch. I know that when I was a beginner, I'd always confuse that last stitch. So you're going to insert your hook through the loop and chain 1, and then you're going to turn your work, and you're going to look for that last chain right there, the 6th chain, and that's where you're going to want to do your first single crochet for that 3rd row. So here you see me counting all the stitches again, just to get familiarized with the stitches, even though I already know this, but you're a beginner, so you probably won't, and you're going to want to do this so that your work can come out beautiful with really straight edges and look flawless. Once you have found your 6th chain there, you're going to insert your hook and yarn over as so, leaving 2 loops on your hook there, and then you're going to yarn over again and loop through those 2 loops. You're going to continue doing that all the way down this 3rd row, but you can see now that on this row, every time you insert your hook, you're going through those 2 pieces of yarn, because that right there is a chain. So you're going through a chain. So when you're doing your 2nd row, you're going through the foundation chain, you only had like 1 strand of yarn when you insert your hook and yarn over, but since the 2nd row is already there and you have more to work with, you're going to realize that now instead of 1 little strand of yarn there, it's going to be 2. And there it is. There are 3 rows of single crochet. Look at that. And you can see that you should still have only 6 stitches. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that last one that's kind of tricky. There's 6 stitch right there. If you are missing one or have one left over, redo your row again because you did something wrong. You either skipped a stitch from the second row or you added a stitch to one of the stitches from the previous row. And here I'm just showing you again going on to the 4th row, but this should be a piece of cake now since you already know the basics of how to build up from a foundation chain with single crochet. You can do this for as many rows as you'd like and for the length that you desire. I plan to make a video later with a short little beginner patterns that you can do with this simple technique, just doing rows on top of rows with single crochet. But for today, this was it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you have enjoyed and I've been thorough. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe and push that bell button. And until next Wednesday, have a great day.